I'm asking the questions. You're answering. Wasn't it true?
My answer is not a capitulation.
I'm asking the question. You're required to answer. Isn't it true that a Jewish Northwestern student was assaulted?
There are allegations that a Jewish student was assaulted.
Isn't it true that a Jewish student wearing a yarmulke was spat on?
All of these are allegations that are being investigated.
How long are these investigations going to occur?
Let me break this down for you. We don't want your stanky Jew money here.
Isn't it true that a Jewish student was told to, quote, go back to Germany and get gassed, end quote?
I've heard that alleged. Again, it is being investigated. We will investigate any claim of discrimination or harassment.
But it is a fact. You said that there have been 0 suspensions, 0 expulsions.
Thus far, with lots of investigations on their way.
You said something that was very important. You said we did not give in to demands, but the commitments we made as part of the Deering Meadows Agreement. You said the word commitments. Let me talk about those commitments. One of those commitments was funding 2 visiting Palestinian faculty for 2 years. Is that true?
This is part of a program that we have had. We have used it with Afghanistan, Ukraine. It's for war-torn
But isn't it true? I'm asking
countries.
you. Okay. The other one is you will fund the full cost for 5 Palestinian undergrads.
That is also part of the program sponsored by our Buffett Institute. It is not a new program. It exists for people whose education and research has been interrupted.
It was announced as part of the Deering Meadows Agreement. Is that correct?
It was it was a goal set forth in the Deering Meadow Agreement. It will also include people from Israel.
Who was consulted when you embarked on the Deering Meadows Agreement? Was the President's Advisory Committee on Preventing Anti-Semitism and Hate consulted?
That was not within the purview of the Anti-Semitism
so they were not
other
consulted.
Forms of hate committee.
Was Northwestern's Board of Trustees consulted?
The chair of our board was consulted.
But not the entire Board of Trustees?
Our Board of Trustees has over 120 members.
And isn't it a fact that members of the Board of Trustees expressed dissatisfaction with your failure to consult them?
There's been some members of our Board of Trustees who have expressed dissatisfaction that they were not part of the decision-making.
Did you consult with the General Counsel of Northwestern or an outside counsel on the Deering Meadows Agreement before it was agreed to?
Yes.
Are you aware that board members asked you this question and you said that you had not
Not
consulted?
the outside counsel. The General Counsel of the university was part of my team managing this problem.
Did you consult with 2 members of the advisory committee that I referenced previously, the anti-Israel professor Jessica Winiger and the Kellogg professor Nor Katili? Were they consulted on the Deering Meadows Agreement?
I consulted with several members, including them, but also including the Hillel director, and also including the chair of the
Let's talk about the Hillel
committee.
director consultation. Isn't it true that you asked the Hillel director whether it was possible to hire an anti-zionist head of Hillel, rabbi?
I did not. I absolutely did not. I would never hire anyone based upon their views of being Zionist or anti-Zionist. That is not what I do. That's not what a great
That's not according to the whistleblowers
does.
that have come forward to this committee.
Ms.
I can't say
Stefanik,
who has talked
has
to you or not
expired.
talked to you, but I can tell you
I can assure you
the
many
truth.
people have spoke to this committee. President Schill, you said there's been a wide range of discipline. After testifying, there have been 0 suspensions, 0 expulsions. And you said discipline has been meted out. How has discipline been meted out?
Discipline has run the gamut. That is the discipline that's already completed. Run the gamut from meetings with student affairs staff at the very lowest level of severity up to disciplinary probation, which means if there is another offense, students will be expelled or suspended.
And you testified when I asked about the Deering Meadows Agreement with the visiting Palestinian faculty members. Isn't it true that the university committed to fundraise above and beyond its current commitment as part of the Deering Meadows Agreement?
I did not commit. I don't know who told you that.
Well, I'm reading it from the statement put out by the university that says, quote, the university commits to fundraise to sustain this program beyond this current commitment, end quote. I'm reading your words put out by your office.
That is a program that is not just about the Middle East. That is a program that is about war-torn areas all across this world.
But
so Ukraine,
isn't it a
for
fact,
example, would be
isn't
included.
it a fact that that was part of the agreement to increase the commitment to that?
I don't think the agreement increased the commitment.
It did. I'm reading it for you. You put this out from your office. Quote, the university commits to fundraise to sustain this program beyond this current commitment. Is that no longer part of the Deering Meadows agreement?
When I hear beyond this commitment,
I'm reading what your office put out.
Are you asking me to interpret what my
No,
office
I'm asking
put out,
you,
or are
isn't
you
that the
just
fact?
reading it?
What does beyond this current commitment mean?
What I read that to be is beyond this current commitment, the rest of the world and over time.
That's not, it's specifically focused on the Palestinian faculty members. Let me ask you this.
But we're also going to be including Israeli faculty members.
It doesn't say that in the
Israeli
commitment. Why didn't you include Israeli faculty members when you put out the Deering Meadows agreement?
Because the Deering Meadows agreement, which actually I never called it that, but the Deering Meadows agreement was just a framework of an agreement that was reached with students at 4 o'clock in the morning.
At the pro-Hamas encampment.
If you would like to see the entire program, go on our website, and that will explain it to you, and you will see.
No, I'm
it doesn't
asking you about
violate
what
Title
the university
VI.
put out. There is no mention of Israeli students or Israeli faculty. Isn't that the case?
In the agreement that we reached, that there wasn't Israeli students there or Jewish students there.
Because they weren't consulted. Isn't that the fact? Jewish and Israeli students were not consulted.
Jewish and Israeli students were not consulted with
Exactly.
respect to
Yield
the
back.
agreement.
Exactly.
And it would
Yield
have been
back.
impractical to do that, Representative Stefanik, with all respect.